Welcome to the Sound in Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Gina Isham, owner and founder of Dreamr Productions and Sound in Marketing Learning. I create, consult, and educate brands and individuals on the power of sound in marketing. Looking to create branded sound or need a sound strategist? Head on over to dreamrproductions.com and let's chat. That's DREAMR productions.com. Want to learn more about sound in marketing these days? Go to soundinmarketing.com. There's courses and resources galore. Now back to the show. We pick up where we left off talking with Lisa Destefano, Home Depot's current VP of Brand Marketing and Creative. We've been discussing the success and long-reaching effects of Home Depot's signature song, The Orange Theme. In part one, Lisa described how they implemented sonic branding exercises with this song at the center to truly make it the sound of doing. As a sonic brander, I'm so glad you went through sonic branding exercises and put this into the found. I'm so happy to hear that, because the thing is, like, maybe this specific attribute won't last for forever, but once you have that foundation, you can build off of it, use a little bit of the old and do some new, and just kind of baby step it into something else as you evolve as a company, because you will. You were just saying, like, you had discount on orange paint, and so that was just how it worked. You were trying to save and cut costs at the beginning, but now you're a larger company and you can actually grow and thrive and do things. So that's just so exciting to hear, and I'm excited to see how this evolves and transitions and transposes into other things. Would you say that the sound would be more of a brand awareness and growth, or is it more in performance marketing?
At first, I would have said, as we were growing the brand and trying to maintain our position in an environment, the branding element of that was the central focus, but it has become synonymous and can be used anywhere. It's an attention grabber in that performance moment. It is in some ways clickbait, because it is, you hear it and you're like, what's Home Depot telling me now, right? There's a trusted conversation coming in this case. And I think it's also attractive to our partners, that idea, even in the retail media space and people wanting to invest in our platform with us. And so many large companies like ours have the opportunity, and we are having this very strong brand experience, this very strong set of brand attributes and tools that they can use. I think it becomes, a deeper advantage for us to have these unique propositions, sound being one of them. And in the video and in the digital space and the social space, sound off, sound on, right? You need all of those attributes to be able to attract and be part of that storyline. And every single piece of it, I think people sometimes underestimate what it can do and the power that it can do. To your point on sonic branding, when you really start to dig in and think about the senses and utilizing as many of them as possible in the relationship that you build with your customer in terms of messaging, this is just a sweet spot that I think people sometimes may not think about deeply enough. Continuity, that ability to have a play in that space, I think, is super positive for us as an organization and as a creative organization to be thinking holistically. It's a different play and a different angle. What's the sound, the sound going to be for this particular moment, leveraging that original spot. So I would geek out with you all day long on it. I think once you get into it, and you start to really think about creative from this type of angle and a soundscape for your environment, as if it were, longer form video, often those cases, right? You think about it in that way, but in the short form, I think it's pretty powerful. There's a depth to an experience you have with a customer when it's more all inclusive and all in. You watch something, that's one thing. When you feel that beat, if your sound is strong enough and it's turned up enough and you hear that, the whole vibration of it is energetic and powerful. And that is a whole nother level of just seeing someone do something or hearing a voiceover on top of it. But that is a unique thing. And I think that's why, as you said, right, there's the guitar riff, but there's that strong beat. And then we can interject the sound of a drill or something happening and it feels right and it's visceral. I can feel this happening. And that's a pretty magical thing for us. It's certainly something we're not going to, even if the world were to change and we were to walk away from it, I think with the power of what we learned through this experience will be part of us and the way we think of our overall brand standards and brand voice. When you say brand voice, right, people think about the way you write copy and that. And I think our brand voice is deeper than that, which is very, very, very cool and exciting for a creative.
I think the word brand voice is being reassessed because I agree. People always thought that it was copy, but it's so much more than that.
We've had drum lines work it. We've had marching bands work it. We've had our associates work it on their own social media. It's a catchy, energetic thing that people just love to play with. So yes, we have some amazing work that we've been gifted by a lot of people that have exactly that energy around them. Lots of orange buckets upside down make a lot of really great beats.
Do you have a favorite, either an iteration that a fan did or one that you actually used in an official campaign?
The original is always my favorite. What I think is interesting is the fact that people can recognize that beat even in work like 545, which was very much an ode to our customers and the people that are doers and that experience.
What kind of person would come here at 5:45 a.m.? Well, there's Carly, a carpenter, just like her dad. There's Juan. He's building a house and a better life. Kenton and Sadie are here because the couple that grouts together stays together. Mary's a drama teacher. She'll do anything for her students, even build sets before class. Lamar needs a torch and clamps for welding school. Ed's putting in a pool for a friend. We all need an Ed. That's who's in our parking lot at 5:45 a.m. Real customers made for doing. And at the Home Depot, everything we do for them.
And even in that light morning tone of getting ready to get doing, you hear those pluck, 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 and you get it and it's coming, and it's soft, but it's there and it's that just getting ready to get going. And so that whole idea that you can play it like that and have that experience and then come back with that, equity track, be heavy, handed, and you're still thinking about doing in those different ways. I love holiday. I'm a big holiday fan overall. And so that idea of taking it to that celebration place that comes with, preparing for holidays and lights twinkling in the background and that, that kind of tonality is another one of my favorites. The magic that can happen when you start with an incredibly strong sonic branded sonic sound and branding, and then you apply it, and then it's authentically there, even if it is more subtle. And I love it when people recognize it, even in those cases.
Would there be any piece of advice that you would give to another brand on what you've learned or your suggestions on moves towards sonic branding? Because everyone's kind of talking about it at this point. Not everybody is doing it yet. What pieces of advice, words of wisdom would you give to a company that's starting to assess that?
In a cluttered landscape, I think you have to work incredibly hard to make sure that you're recognized, that you're breaking through. And everybody talks about, well, you have to break through creative and, how do you do that? And that's our mission, to be exciting and do that. And I think you can't leave anything out of your quiver when you're doing that. And I think it's an opportunity that many people overlook as being able to own it and recognize it, or they do, which is wonderful, a triggered moment in a sonic logo or something. But they don't necessarily give their creative teams and their branding teams a full suite of things to work with. And I think the ability to have that full suite and make the investment in what we sound like ask a group of people what you sound like, and the conversation gets incredibly rich. It's, what do we look like? You know what people do when it's like, what do you look like? Well, we look like this, and our people have their sleeves rolled up and their hands are in the dirt, and you can just picture what it smells like. And, but then you say, what do we sound like? And you think about drills and hammers, and you think about people laughing or wiping their brow. There's a sound to all of those things, right? And it's what is amazing about the artistry that goes into producing, movies we love and all of that. Why leave that to like those sorts of places, right? You want to captivate the customer all the time in every way you can. And then you get to this amazing place where it just infiltrates not only what you do and put on the screen, or what you do when you put on in the radio, environment or audio environment specifically, but then it starts to infiltrate how you think about your brand within the context of events and experiential work and other things. Don't sell it short. What it can do to motivate teams to really think holistically and really question, will it be relevant to our customer? What does our customer sound like and think like? How do they want to participate? That kind of energy is worth every bit of effort you put into it. Will pay back in multiples for sure.
That was a great answer. I loved that answer.
Well, I'm glad we have this shared passion, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. And hopefully you can tell that I am a sonic branding fan.
Well, Lisa, thank you so much for your time. I've just loved digging into this with you.
Thank you.
I hope you're enjoying the show. Don't forget to subscribe on all the major podcast channels. Share with friends, follow, and rate. Spread the word because, well, more people should know about this stuff. I know you know that now. For any other inquiries, you can find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also email me at Jeanna, Jeanna, @dreamrproductions.com. All links will be provided in the show notes. Let's make this world of sound more intriguing, more unique, and more on brand.